I guess I'll go with why is there no special teams coach? This is one of those things that's just an absolute fan favorite question. It's just Lincoln Riley's philosophy. He is not alone in coaching. There's this misconception that Lincoln Riley is this renegade and he doesn't believe in a special teams coach. There are many head coaches that follow his philosophy that you don't want to give a full-time coaching position to somebody that's just dealing with special teams, which again is part of the game. Is third, everyone talks about it. You field position, etc. Those field goals are important, but they have an analyst, Ryan Doherty, I think that's right. He handles the special teams. This is actually a good question because Kyle McDonald, I believe, also would work with the special teams on kick returns. Most of the guys on this team have some experience in special teams. So it's not like the special teams coordinator is the one coaching each one of these things. It's usually delegated out, right? But we had Sean Snyder. Remember, his dad at Kansas State was known for special teams and big deal. He's come in. How'd that work out? We had this hot shot, and then we had Fresno State. Forgot the guy's name so quickly under Clay Helton, the special teams coordinator, who had like 12 scholarship kickers. He had him in there, and he had once in a while it was good for a great play, a little trick play, but at the end of the day, how much did that help us win? So I know that Matt's gonna chime in here really quickly. I do think that Doherty's big thing is he is a kicking specialist, and they allow guys that have who have special teams experience, and on their resume to assist in. It's not like they're not coaching special teams guys. It's not like they just throw the ball out to say, okay, guys, good luck. Let's get a good punt off. It's not like that. Okay. They are being coached. The question is do you want to have a dedicated special teams coordinator who just all he does is special teams? Matt, go ahead. Tell me where I'm wrong.
You're not wrong. And here's the point I was going to make about this conversation. I mean, like, people know where I've stood in past seasons and in past contexts, but USC just brought in a stud kicker. USC just recruited a guy who should be a massive upgrade over Dennis Lynch. And so if you're not going to have a special teams coordinator, which is, again, that's a defensible position, but you better have the elite performers at these crucial hinge point spots who can do the job. And USC seems to have a place kicker who is going to be lights out. I mean, and hopefully, that's going to be the case. And if so, like, that reduces the longevity, the endurance of that talking point about not having a special teams coordinator. If you have a kicker who can just mop up and do his job with relentless consistency, a consistency Dennis Lynch did not bring to the table. He got the scholarship, and then his performance declined. Whoopsie! You need a stone cold killer at the place kicker spot, and USC seems to have recruited a guy who can do that. And if that's the case, then the value or the importance of not having a special teams coordinator goes down. So Tim, I wasn't nearly as much of a bad cop as you might have been bracing for there.
I thought you were winding up. You're ready to go.
Yeah.
Well, Zapliki, he came over from Arizona State, and I believe he was first team or second team all conference punter. So I mean, with the kicking game sorted out, Dennis did have lots of inconsistency. He boomed that 53 or 54 yard field goal. I can't remember how long it was, but then on those chip shots, he just became a bit inconsistent. These games, remember, you guys, we're going to the Big Ten. It's not the sling it out Pac-12. Points might be at a premium in some of these games, and missing field goals is a perfect way to lose games. Absolutely a horrible way to lose games.
And of course, especially now that USC is moving into the Big Ten, placing more of an emphasis on running the ball, more of an emphasis on controlling the clock, and more of a chance that you play one of those 11 a.m. games in Iowa or Illinois on a foggy, damp, late October, early November morning. You need your kicker to regularly deliver 3 points. Like you go into Kinnick, you need to be prepared to win 15-12, baby. Mark Rogers knows all about that. So
there's gonna be, yeah.
Going into the Big Ten, the value of having a lights out kicker is multiplied exponentially.
When you have less possessions coming up empty from the 40, that could be just the game.
And to your point, Tim, there are less college football teams today employing special teams coordinators than at any other time. It's just being moved into other positions on the coaching staff. It's not necessarily being ignored or anything like that. And we're talking about some of the best programs in the country have dropped special teams coordinators and delegated that elsewhere. We've talked about it here. I've talked about it elsewhere. I've actually presented the numbers and the stats. Just the way the game has been changed from a rule standpoint has limited the number of plays on special teams and the number of plays in which there is real activity that are not dead plays. The punting has become so good. The adoption of the Australian Aussie style punting that is rarely returned. The amount of kickoffs that are returned is minimal compared to what it was 10 years ago. If you take the leader in kickoff returns as a team from last year and you just randomly go back 10 years, they're going to be about middle of the pack in the country. There are far less kicks and punts being brought back for a number of reasons than there were even just 10 years ago. And to your point, Tim, our guy, John Baxter, is the special teams coordinator you were thinking of from Fresno State. There was good reason they brought him in. During his time at Fresno State, the Bulldogs led the nation in punt blocks. Fun fact there.
I brought him up because Mark, he leaves a bad taste in a lot of well, it's just a part of it is just, he just was part of that regime, but also the word is a lot of, an extraordinary amount of practice time was spent on special teams, and for what output? When the rest of the team, when your offensive defense is struggling as bad as it was under Helton, you're spending that much time on the special teams. That was kind of the point I was trying to backwards make. Yeah, it's John Baxter. Yeah, and we had a. Sorry, go ahead, Mark. Sorry.
And I was just going to say, to make my point clear, that doesn't mean that you allow the special teams to go. You have to address it. It has to be addressed. And a lot of head coaches have, a significant background in special teams. And that's one way for them to become more familiar with the entirety of the squad is to coach special teams.